Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to another fountain pen review. Today I'm going to review the little Jinhao 301. I've had this pen for quite a while. It was a gift from a pen pal, and I've run through several different inks in it, and I'm now ready to give an opinion on the pen. So what I'll do is I'll show you the pen and we'll talk about it. I'll try to show you all the parts to it. Then we'll compare it to some of the other fountain pens I have. And I will tell you what I like and don't like, and along the way some details, and then we'll do a writing sample on some Tomoe River paper. So let's see, let me just make sure this is in focus. I hope. It's hard because I want to show it close up, but I want to make sure you can see everything. Okay, so probably the most distinguishing feature is the finial. It's actually known as not only the Jinhao 301, but the diamond hat. That's kind of a little nickname that gets added to it because it has this beautiful finial with it looks like, of course it's not a diamond, but it looks like it. And it's got the little tiny view or little tiny stones on the end too. It's quite striking for a pen that's always under $10. The range is about $3 to $8. I did see one place where it was 99 cents, but I couldn't vouch or know for sure about the seller, so I'm going to stick with right around $3 to $8 and under $10. Even at Amazon you can get it under $10. So let's see. It's got a nice metal clip. It looks like it would be an easy clip to use for those of you that do use it because it has a little flare at the end there. So it's tipped up and it looks to me like it would be quite good. It's nice and strong, but it's got that little helper there, so it's not so hard to hassle with. Let's see, it's got some markings. It says right here, it says Jinhao 301. And then it's got a little symbol of like a stage or a little horses with a little... I can't remember what you got, horse and buggy, I guess I'd call it. So let's take this off. It's got kind of a little cap liner inside. And in my experience, this pen hasn't dried up, which really surprised me because sometimes that can happen. But it hasn't happened with this pen, and I'm really pleased about that, especially since, you know, what I want to use it for, which we'll talk about in a bit. But it does have a hooded nib, mine, but you can get these with a regular little nib. I think it might be a number 5 nib, but I'm not sure because I haven't actually had one of the other kind. So it's got the little hooded nib. It's got a metal section. The whole body is metal. It's of some kind. I'm not exactly sure what. And then it does have kind of, this is decorative because this is a push cap, whatever. Goodness gracious, don't have my English today. But this is decorative. It doesn't actually get in my way, and this part's not sharp. So where I'm holding the pen is usually right down here on the section, and these are smooth. Up here there's a little this indentation, or where the cap kind of sits, that can be a little bit not sharp, like it's not going to cut you or anything, but if you had to hold it up there, it might not be quite as comfortable. I have small hands, but this is a very narrow section. So, but anyway, we'll get into those specs in a little bit. It's a cartridge converter pen. It came with a cartridge. Came with the converter. Heavens to Betsy. I think it says right here, Jinhao 301, just in case you didn't know. It's labeled on the inside and the outside. It's just a regular little converter. Okay, and then let's look at the back of it. I probably hadn't ought to have it uncapped for so long either. You never know. It's just a plain black on the other end of it with a little bit of a silver kind of trim. It's a very elegant and nice looking pen. I could do without this though, I'll admit. That part there, it's like a little, probably their branding, I don't really care for it. I don't mind the Jinhao, it's very subtle. But on the front of the pen like that, I'm not sure about that. I mean, it's not a big deal though. I guess that gives you a pretty good view. You could probably see that it's a slim pen. And let's see, so I'm going to compare it to some other pens. Haven't done a pen review in a while, and I guess you can tell. I'm a little bit rusty. Okay, so let's put this one down here. And this is a good time to start talking about measurements, I think. So capped, today's pen, this Jinhao 301, is 140 millimeters or 14 centimeters. And then it can post, oh, that's something I should have showed you already. It can post, but I don't like to. Makes it quite long. When it's posted, it is 16 centimeters or 160 millimeters. So it extends well past, you know, my hand there. And not that it doesn't feel balanced, it's okay, but I don't like to write with it posted, so I don't. Okay, and then completely unposted, your measurement is 121 millimeters. So it's nice. It's got plenty of room to land on your hand and everything. It's not big though. It's quite small. Okay, so then as far as my comparisons, the other pens I have, this is an older Schaefer that I haven't really learned a lot about yet, but it's even thinner than the Jinhao 301. So it is something that I don't have a converter for. I just fill up this old Schaefer script cartridge, and that's worked fine for me. And this is actually a nice writer. It's just that it doesn't, I don't know why, but this doesn't do anything for me, the plain silver. But it's very similar. It's almost the same length. Let's see what it is when they're uncapped. The Schaefer is just a little bit shorter. It's not inked up right now, so. But I just really wanted to compare it with other metal pens, to be fair. And so this is the Pilot Metropolitan, which is much girthier. You can, you know, you're going to have you could do longer writing sessions if you're like me and need a little bit more to hang on to with this pen. So, okay, weight-wise, that was something I was going to mention too. And then I've got the scale in case we want to do some comparisons of that. But the weight of this pen is 22.4 grams, the whole pen. But then the body only is quite a bit of the weight, because that's 13.8. And I was surprised. I thought maybe with all this decoration that was what was giving it its weight, and it isn't. So, so it weighs in at more than the Lamy All-Star. So that was interesting too, because the Lamy All-Star is 19.2 on my scale. It doesn't have any ink in it right now. Of course, the Lamy All-Star has the plastic section, the aluminum body, and you've got, if you like that kind of grip, you'll be happy with it, and I happen to like it. So you're not dealing with quite as thin of a section. Or if you are, it's definitely got a way to grip it without it being slippery at all. The body on this pen is 9.9 grams, weighs, without the ink. Whoops. I always like to see the Lamy part on the front. So that's, you know, that's a little bit of comparisons for you. This is quite different because it's got that hooded nib, but they are available with the other style nib. So I thought that was really neat. I don't know that we really need this measurement. Really, there wasn't anything totally close to that pen because this is a different style nib. It's not a hooded nib. It kind of reminds me of that one. But there you have it so far. Okay, so next, I guess it's time for me to tell you what I like and I don't like, and then go through and see if there's anything that I'm forgetting. So, I love that this is reliable, and it's a smooth writer too. It has a little bit of feedback, but I haven't been tempted to smooth the nib. So, I mean, I thought about it once, and then I thought, no, I think it has acceptable feedback for what it is, and it's written really well. So, for me, one of my things, which is not really a dislike, it's just a unique thing for me, is that I have trouble with the hooded nibs trying to see that I've got it right. In other words, you know, my eyesight is weird, and so I have to kind of look over the top of my bifocals and everything, make sure I'm holding it right. But that's, you know, that's a thing that I have to deal with. But this pen is, like I said, reliable, and it's a smooth writer, and it's also beautiful in my opinion. You know, it's astounding how pretty it is for just an under $10 pen that you can get for $3 if you're savvy. And then my dislikes, you can probably tell, it's just, I think the section for me is too narrow, but I can use it for short writing sessions, and I've actually found a home for it, which I'm going to show you in a minute. I generally prefer medium or broad nibs, but there is definitely a use for, I believe this is extra fine. This is, I think it is, because the fines on most Jinhaos would be thicker, so I think this is extra fine. But I noticed on the eBay that you could get like extra fine and fine and different variety, which I'm going to link you directly to so you can check that out. But I really don't have any dislikes that are huge on this pen at all. Those are very, very picky little personal things as far as the section. And you will know probably if you can handle a section that thin. Let's see, I did like a measurement. I probably didn't write it down. Oh gosh, that's difficult. Hold on. I just wanted to show you, because when I did the measurement for the section where I hold it, I was coming up right about 8.2. I don't want to scratch the pen. So that's millimeters. And I don't know if that'll be useful for you at all, but it is quite thin, that's all. For long writing sessions, I can't imagine, unless you have really tiny hands and you're young, maybe that would work for you for long writing sessions. But where I found a home for it, and I cleaned this out. This is my checkbook register, and it actually has a place. And you know, when it's a thinner pen like that, it really accommodates it just perfectly. I took out all my personal stuff, but this is my checkbook register that I use all the time, and I thought this is wonderful for that. You know, it's harder if you're going to try to, I mean, I just can't do it without having to work at it. But with a thin pen like this, or the Schaefer, it goes right in there. That might be a little too thin, might fall out, but this is just perfect. You know, we get those little things on notebooks too sometimes, little pen holders. So it's so nice to have just such a gorgeous pen for the checkbook. And I thank you to my pen friend, MZ, who sent this to me some time ago. Let's see, I wanted to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. But I think what we could do now is work toward the writing sample. At first I was going to start a new page, but then I thought, no, this will be good. This is the Pilot Vanishing Point with a medium nib, and we'll be able to actually compare. Whoops, I got kind of a shaky hand, and I'm working around a tripod. Let me see if I can zoom in a little, and then we'll just do a writing sample. I have to look at it and make sure I'm holding it right. A quick brown box. Jumps over. The lazy dog. Now, I don't think I mentioned the ink, which is strange for me. This is actually Monteverde Purple Rain, one of my favorite inks. And this is not a wet writer, but it definitely, gosh, I wonder, I wasn't watching the camera as I was trying to write. Let me see if I could just do a little and see whether we can show it. It's definitely kind of a medium in terms of flow. And I just really like it. And I think it's been really great for some of my smaller notebooks where I'm just on the run and I'm just going to write something quick. Let me do a little bit of printing. Gosh, I'm just jumping around. Something got on there. It looks like I got carried away with the Graf von Faber-Castell there. I always like to see, because in some of my smaller writing, it's going to be printing. Okay. Brown Fox. Like I said, it's got some feedback, but it's not too much for me. I wouldn't be able to stand it. If it was too much, then I would be already with the micro mesh and the little tool that I have to smooth it, but I haven't had to do that, so that's neat. There, okay, so hopefully you were able to see that. So it's a good writer, and I've had it filled up like 4 to 5 times. I have not had it dry out. I've ended up, you know, since it has such a fine nib, I've ended up having a little bit of ink left and having to go ahead and clean. It was time to clean it. I say having, it's just because I don't like to leave my pens too long, and I don't like the ink to be in there just forever. So I find that it's wonderful because it doesn't dry out. That's one of my favorite things. And I just have the feeling that I'm forgetting a lot of things, but maybe not. You never know. Oh, I had one unrelated thing I was going to show you, but I think I've covered everything. I really feel like this is an affordable pen that's very beautiful. And as you'll see, if you click on the links to, I think it's eBay and Amazon is where I found it, there are quite a few options, really. There are other colors, and there are some that look marbleized, like the Jinhao X450s. It's almost very similar to that, where it's like the blue or the black. There is a solid black one. There's blue, there's pink. This one is called purple. I thought it was pink, but I did some research, and the color name for this particular one is purple. So just so you know. Okay, well, if I forgot anything really serious, I'll write it in the description. But I wanted to show you something else tiny that I'm up to, because I'm trying to kind of return to the enthusiasm and things that, you know, that kind of got this channel started in the first place. And one of the things I'm doing right now is going through and getting some of the stamps off. This was one of my very favorite pen pal stamps from recently. It comes from Greece, and it was on a letter from my pen pal from Greece. Isn't that gorgeous? It's got shiny, yeah, you can see that, right? So I was really happy with how it soaked off the envelope. And so while I was at it, there were a couple from the Netherlands. It looks like, is that skates? I'm not really sure. He's got like Christmas lights, and then there's a badger, I think, with a, it's just really, these were side by side, I think, on the envelope. Might have been the other way around. Yeah, might have been like that. And then these come from the United Kingdom. This is Sherwood Forest. And then these two, I don't know if I probably damaged this one by accident, but I kept them together anyway because the postmark was here. So these three were from the United Kingdom. And then these are some older ones from the United States that were, that one of my pen friends, he uses older postage stamps and adds them up. I think these three were on the one envelope. The Silver Surfer, this one is really cool. 1 cent. And then First Civil Settlement. Anyway, I really get into this, and I don't know where I'm going to keep these because I've never really done this before. I used to just cut them off the envelope, but I decided I really want to start saving them because I'm going through trying to, you know, I save some of my pen pal letters, and some it's time to recycle because there's just so many. This one's from New Zealand, and it's a Christmas stamp. Isn't that pretty? I don't know. I got really excited with this. And also, I'll admit, I think I may be in a slump with ink reviews just because I had done so many so quickly there in September and October. And then came the end of the year and all of the things that I wanted to try. So it's okay. I'm trying to be easy on myself and get out some of these pens. This was another pen that didn't quite make the comparison. Let's just look at this real quick. But this is one that I want to ink up and try. It's small. Let's compare it to today's, even though this is not what this purpose was. But at the end, I always like to talk about what I'm up to. So this has also got a hooded nib. But see how much smaller this pen is? This is much more like a pocket pen. I don't know anything about it, though. Just the markings that are on it. It was a gift from a pen friend, Miffy's Garden. And I think it's got a, yeah, it's got a converter and everything in it. So I'll be trying this one out. It's another one with a real thin section, but I have come to learn that I like having a pen. I want to make sure I don't have that out so long that it quits. Yeah, I don't like to dry them up. I've come to really love having a specific place for a pen, and then I'll keep track of that pen carefully on its own. Whereas I got in my pen case lots of pens that I'm using to write letters with. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. And if you are looking for a gorgeous, affordable pen that is reliable and you don't mind having a thin, you know, a thinner section, then I think this might be something you might want to look into one day. So thought I'd share it with you. Okay. That's all for now, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Bye for now.